lovelies. Here we are again for Shelter in the Storm with A Course in Miracles, Lesson 8. Okay, today we're going to read Chapter 1, The Meaning of Miracles, Part 1, the rest of the Principles of Miracles, there are 50, so we'll get to number 50 today, 32 to 50. 32. I inspire all miracles, which are really intercessions. They intercede for your holiness and make your perceptions holy. By placing you beyond the physical laws, they raise you into the sphere of celestial order. In this order, you are perfect. 33. Miracles honor you because you are lovable. They dispel illusions about yourself and perceive the light in you. They thus atone for your errors by freeing you from your nightmares. By releasing your mind from the imprisonment of your illusions, they restore your sanity. Miracles restore them. Number 34. Miracles restore the mind to its fullness. By atoning for lack, they establish perfect protection. The Spirit's strength leaves no room for intrusions. 35. Miracles are expressions of love, but they may not always have observable effects. 36. Miracles are examples of right thinking, aligning your perception with truth as God created it. 37. A miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking by me. It acts as a catalyst, breaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly. This places you under the atonement principle, where perception is healed. Unless this has occurred, knowledge of the divine order is impossible. The Holy Spirit is the mechanism of miracles. Number 38. The Holy Spirit is the mechanism of miracles. He recognizes both God's creations and your illusions. He separates the true from the false by his ability to perceive totally rather than selectively. 39. The miracle dissolves error because the Holy Spirit identifies error as false or unreal. This is the same as saying that by perceiving light, darkness also automatically disappears. Excuse me. 40. The miracle acknowledges everyone as your brother and mine. It is a way of perceiving the universal mark of God. 41. Wholeness is the perceptual content of miracles. They thus correct, or atone for, the faulty perception of lack. 42. A major contribution of miracles is their strength in releasing you from your false sense of isolation, deprivation, and lack. 43. Miracles arise from a miraculous state of mind, or a state of miracle readiness. 44. The miracle is an expression of an inner awareness of Christ and the acceptance of his atonement. 45. A miracle is never lost. It may touch many people you have not even met and produce undreamed of changes in situations in which you are not even aware. Wow. 46. The Holy Spirit is the highest communication medium. Miracles do not involve this type of communication because they are temporary communication devices. When you return to your original form of communication with God by direct revelation, the need for miracles is over. 47. The miracle is a learning device that lessens the need for time. It establishes an out-of-pattern time interval, not under the usual laws of time. In this sense, it is timeless. 48. The miracle is the only device at your immediate disposal for controlling time. Only revelation transcends it, having nothing to do with time at all. 49. The miracle makes no distinction among degrees of misperception. It is the device for perception correction, effective quite apart from either the degree or the direction of the error. This is its true indiscriminateness. Number 50. The miracle compares what you have made with creation, accepting what is in accord with what is true, and rejecting what is out of accord as false. Okay, we will continue on with part 2 of chapter 1 tomorrow. That's amazing. The principles of miracle, every time I read them, I feel like I'm just reading them for the first time. So many times, practically every day, I'm reading something from the course, and it's as if I've heard it for the first time, or something that I was a bit confused, not sure about, has become very clear in my mind. Happens all the time, even though I've been doing this course for a few years now. Alright, lesson 8. Excuse me, let me have a quick drink of my water. Ooh. Lesson 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This idea is, of course, the reason why you see only the past. No one really sees anything. He sees only his thoughts projected outward. The mind's preoccupation with the past is the cause of the misconception about time from which your seeing suffers. Your mind cannot grasp the present, which is the only time there is. It therefore cannot understand time, and cannot, in fact, understand anything. The one wholly true thought one can hold about the past is that it is not here. To think about it at all is therefore to think about illusions. Very few have realized what is actually entailed in picturing the past or in anticipating the future. The mind is actually blank when it does this, because it is not really thinking about anything. The purpose of the exercises for today is to begin to train your mind to recognize when it is not really thinking at all. While thoughtless ideas preoccupy your mind, the truth is blocked. Recognizing that your mind has been merely blank, rather than believing it is filled with real ideas, is the first step to opening the way to vision. The exercises for today should be done with eyes closed. This is because you actually cannot see anything, and it is easier to recognize that no matter how vividly you may picture a thought, you are not seeing anything. with as little investment as possible. Search your mind for the usual minute or so, merely noting the thoughts you find there. Name each one by the central figure or theme it contains, and pass on to the next. Introduce the practice period by saying, I seem to be thinking about Greg. Then name each of your thoughts specifically. For example, I seem to be thinking about Greg, about work, about sadness. And so on, concluding at the end of the mind-searching period with, but my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This can be done for 4 or 5 times during the day, unless you find it irritates you. If you find it trying, 3 or 4 times is sufficient. You might find it helpful, however, to include your irritation or any emotion that the idea for today may induce in the mind searching itself. So after you've practiced lesson 8, come back to your video and finish off by watching Jesus' commentary with a year of forgiveness for lesson 8. And here is Renee Phillips' illustration. Can you see it? They're really cute and funny. Lesson 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. You are blessed beings, indeed. I am that one you know as Jesus. We congratulate you for showing up for lesson 8. We are a week into the new training, and it is important for you to remember that as you do these lessons, I do them with you. I do them with you. I stand side by side with you and hold your hand as you go through this mind transformation program. And as you use your free will, the most powerful creative device in the universe, and choose to question the way you look at the world, this precipitates transformation in the world. The way you see the world comes from you. When you don't question the past experiences on which you base your decisions, you always create the same thing. If that thing does not suit you, then you develop unhealthy patterns of behavior that cause suffering. When you begin to question your decision-making abilities based on your past experience, as in, when I'm thinking about the past, I'm not really thinking about anything. You are imagining. You use your imagination when you relive or mull something over. You go back through your own filters of thought to a time and place when you made a decision about something, whether good, bad, or indifferent. And you bring that past recollection into the present and contaminate the present moment. We want you to understand that you need to leave the present free and clear to create a new thing with a clarified mind. We want you to become more present, more accepting of the present moment, because this is where everything happens. If you bring your past ideas into this present moment and base your present decisions and judgments on past experience, you get the same thing over and over again. Presence is what we want to cultivate here. You begin to see the time you spend in future ruminations and past regrets as a waste of your creative energy. This amounts to nothing but a waste of the present moment, the only moment you have for your creative mind to play. Do not contaminate the present moment. When you feel sadness, depression, or pain, you have left the present moment. You think about what bad thing might come to you. You worry about or regret the past and the time you have wasted. You still waste your time when you look back at the past and think it should have been different. This helps with the forgiveness practice, which this course cultivates in your consciousness. Because if you don't keep regurgitating past wounds or sins that people might have committed against you, then you will not hate them. When you meet them, you do so in the present moment, free to accept them as they are. Harboring hatred and unforgiveness means you cannot meet people as they are in this moment. You're always layering what they have done and said, or shouldn't have done and said, between you and them. And you live in an untrue idea of those people. To live in the moment is a very loving thing. This lesson is a very loving practice. You begin to free not only yourself of the illusions of past and future, but also those people you meet from your past judgments and decisions about them. You begin to meet them, perhaps for the first time, free and clear of judgments. In that moment, you have a true and honest interaction with them. This is cultivated over time. When you meet people with whom you share resentments, you have a feeling of negativity because these past misdeeds have been fought and nurtured. As you begin to let go of these past wounds, judgments and stories involving your parents, ex-lovers, and partners, you can also release the future stories of poverty, homelessness, job loss, or betrayal. These illusory ideas contaminate your mind in the present and cause suffering. Thank you for joining us today. We are pleased you are on this journey with us toward a new, clarified mind. These lessons free you from the prison of thoughts that hurt you, and we want you to know it is a powerful process indeed. We will speak to you again tomorrow. Namaste, lovely ones.